Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
Have you ever done episodes where you've had to not put it out?
Yeah. We done a Greg Wallace Patreon episode.
Only one time, yeah.
I think the one that I do with Sunil Patel and James Shakeshaft, we were talking about it, and we're all in his 40s. But we started, and we always, because James has mostly a normal job, so we tend to record him in evenings at odd times. Mm-hmm. And we just started, and I don't know how we started on it, but the first 30 minutes was talking about like what you can do about hair loss. Do you know what I mean? Talking about like medicines,
The pills
to encourage hair growth.
Sounds like great content to me, Chris.
I'm a fan man.
I haven't felt sadder off the back of that. And I was like, we can't put that out. Not that I'm fussed about having conversations like that, just the sadness that permeated
There
from
is
it.
a set. But then I think
We will have done that and put it out already.
We've done that whole episode.
Maybe not
I think
30 minutes.
Well,
but-
hey, you know,
When we
take
had
Finisterre.
Kai Humphries, we spoke to him at length about his upcoming hair transplant surgery.
hey, and 3 great heads of hair. But ours is very much a podcast for 40-year-olds,
40-year-olds.
40 plus,
Yeah,
bad backs.
because you do. So you and Sunil's podcast is rural concerns.
Yes,
So
I'm
do
a
you
fan.
think that it's because most people in rural areas are older? Is that why you attract an older audience?
No,
you're speaking to who you are what you speak to.
yeah, and a lot of it is,
Get
it
that on a
started
cushion.
it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of,
Attract what you are, I believe, is what Steve might be
I
trying
was going to
to
say you are what you eat, but
We-
not for
But we started doing it because I moved to Hadrian's Wall, so about an hour away from here. Hadrian's Wall, rurally. I'm from Bradford. I'm from a big city, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I had no friends, and like I turned 40, so it's like I can't listen to the first 10 episodes. I'm clinically depressed. I can hear it, and it is an intervention. And then after that, it's like, you know, you just once you've broken that seal, we're just talking about getting older. And I think, you know, in the industry where you're like, I'm maintaining this illusion, there's fooling nobody else that I'm 36 years old. And then you're like, you know what, I'm 40, my back started hurting. And they say, yeah, I can't hear out of it. And that's fine. And it turns out there's a few other people who feel like that. It's probably not like the young hipsters that you've got listed to this.
Of course.
Nah,
But
I
my back's been sore since
Yeah, I've got a sore back right now.
primary school.
I've actually just aged out of our primary 24 to 34 demographic, so I'm now older than our target audience.
And I think really I know I'm a chunk older, but Stephen's always felt like somewhat of a kindred spirit in that sense.
Yeah.
Thank
I've
you.
had a back issue that's been niggling me for a couple of years. I think when you get into your 30s, generally, you start having certain wee issues that you didn't ever have to think about in your 20s. And then I can only imagine until you get your 40s, Chris, you're fucked. But but it is those things that you creep in and you go, God, I was just running about, you know, as a teenager in my 20s, never having to worry about these things at all. And then you're going, my life would be solved if I just didn't have this wee slight tweak in my lower back that was annoying me all the time.
Yeah.
But I think it was about 39, because I've had a few pints and had a laugh, do you know what I mean, by and large. But 39 years old, 39 years old, out of nowhere, I'm getting into exercise, do you know what I mean? I think when you get to 39, you're like, fuck, this is going to wrap up at some point. You can see the end, do you know what I mean? And you're like, right, I need to get, so I started running. Hated every single second of the run. But I do it, you like start to do it methodically just to be exercising and get the heart going. Great content.
Do you do 5Ks or do you just do like do you have set goals?
I normally do like 5 to 6K. I live up near a military base and I go running around there trying to peep over the fence.
What's your time?
What's the fastest time?
20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the
I'll do it.
fastest time.
I think I do 6K in about 39 minutes, which
That's
isn't
good.
great.
That's
but
good going.
Let's move
You're going
on.
up at home.
Also,
That's good going.
because when I started running, I was doing it on an app. It's like it gamifies it all. So for the first
that's
while,
true,
I'm like,
that's what it does.
gold. This is the best time that you've done a 5K, and you're like, yeah. And then you get past that bit, And then I think I had a slight injury, like an achy toe. And my interest in it just stopped completely, just dropped off a cliff.
Yep.
But I was like, you've got to maintain it. And he's, like when you have always stand up, you're knocking around a lot of younger people. And my brother-in-law is like 43, but he's a single man. And when you listen to, you're not parents here, any of you. No, fucking hell. Like, my brother-in-law tells me about what he's working on for himself. Do you know what I mean? He's like, this is the exercise regime he's doing. He's trialing this way of living where he locks his phone away in a box, saying, you're like, I got a child, my life's just fucked. I can't work on myself at all. And I think we were talking during the Fringe, and you're like, what are you doing this morning? Like, relax. Do you know what I mean? This morning's for chilling. And you're like, I've been up since 5 a.m. And I just will be until he goes to uni.
How old is your kid?
9.
9.
9 don't like me loads.
Right.
I was saying he's sort of gone mad on Fortnite, which we're trying to keep an eye on, but I like wind him up, and he's like, like Fortnite's talking about skins, and you're like, what characters you can pay money to dress as in Fortnite for digital money, which I have to pay for with real money. So he's like, but I'm trying to I'm not trying to dismiss it. I'm trying to he's really interested in it, so I sit with him, and I'm like, when my wife's like cleaning the house and cooking, I'm like, I'm gonna make develop mine and my son's relationship by sitting and playing cramming Fortnite. But I upset him the other day when I was telling you guys he's saying guess who you can get? Do you know what I mean? You can get the Gorillas, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that old music guy, but it's like, name one song. name one song before you spend $6.99 to dress up like the Gorillas.
But does he know that they're even an album? Does he just think it's Gorillas?
It's just they're cool characters. You know what I mean? So he's like that, and I said to him, I said, "Do they have Rick Cheese?" And he's like, "That's not real, Dad." He's like livid with me, instantly livid, losing his temper with me. And he went, "Look, Rick Cheese doesn't exist." So I took out my notebook and just went quiet. And I'm drawing in the notebook, and I'm drawing Rick Cheese. It's a slice of cheese, Emmental cheese with a moustache, and 2 little legs and cowboy
Mark's
boots.
just realised that Rick Cheese ain't real, by the way. Broke his heart.
I have no idea what's going on there.
I showed him. I said, "Look, that's Rick Cheese. He's real." So he launches across the room. He's kicking me and punching me, trying to make this end. And then I'm writing. My wife said his catchphrase could be, "That's great, but great spelt, like you're grating cheese." So I'm writing that, and he's dragging the pen off me, punching me in the head. And I was like, that's one of our better mornings.
Yeah.
He's a big lad.
Because he feels like you're sort of maybe dismissing his
You're
passion.
making a mockery.
And making a mockery of his.
Okay, yeah.
One way
I
to
think
look
that
at it.
it must be interesting though with stuff like that, because at a certain point, as you say, you're trying to get involved, but there's a certain point where you just need to go, I'm his dad, and he is going to hate any contribution I'm going to have to this thing that I'm going to probably take the piss out of, because I don't know that much. And it's probably a thing you just need to sort of... There's probably a lot of because when we were younger and the shit we were into, one I always think is wrestling and stuff. Our parents must have just seen us watching whatever shit we were into then, and they must have just had to keep so tight-lipped because they would have probably hated it so much.
But do you remember? I always remember my mum and dad being like, "What are you watching this for?" This sort of thing. Well, so I don't want to do that.
Yes,
I'm trying to add to it. Rick Cheese. Do you know what I mean? That wouldn't it be cool if he existed?
Yeah.
And my son's because
watching Friends. When's Rick Cheese walking in?
But because I've done a radio show for Radio 4, my son's he don't really understand what it is, and he's a brilliant opportunity, but he's like, "Do you think they're going to add you to Fortnite, Dad?" And I was like,
One of your radio characters.
I was like, I don't know where Radio 4 comedy sits in the spectrum of global entertainment. Maybe after they've done John Cena. Do you know?
No, Stephen Fry surely is the most likely crossover between Radio 4 and some kind of Fortnite thing.
I can't imagine a Stephen Fry Fortnite skin.
Maybe.
Just goes around correcting people.
Doing with Stephen Fry.
I can't be fucked with Stephen Fry either.
I think he's one of these people.
I just don't get why he's so beloved. He's
You
just
know when
like a mad old
people
posh guy, isn't he?
beat a path to people that sound posh, to be like praising. I don't know. You know when they don't. They're maybe not as intelligent as I don't know.
So
What do you think he's cosplaying as? No, because he is an
No, I'm sure
intelligent
he's
guy.
smart.
But you get a lot more intelligence points if you're a posh cunt, don't you?
Yeah, but I think he does know because he hosted QI. You need to know stuff to host
Gotta read
QI.
the auto cue.
You do auto cue, that's it.
No, that's all off at the
Well,
top
he
of the
played
dome.
Oscar Wilde once, and sometimes I wonder whether people just think he's like Oscar Wilde, but no.
But wasn't there
People thought of him like that because when he joined Twitter, everyone's like, "Oh, he's the wittiest person on Twitter."
Yeah.
Like, back when Twitter was like in 2008 or whatever.
He wrote a Greek mythology book.
Did he?
You gave me it for my birthday. Mythos.
I can't remember. I didn't remember Stephen Fry that read.
So did Neil
Did you ever
Gaiman.
read it?
I didn't read it. No.
He's a wrong'un.
Yeah, see how that ended. But with Stephen Fry, didn't it? There was that thing with that members club in London that he's been a member of for, I think, 30 years.
Yeah.
Where they weren't accepting women, and then it hit the headlines. So then he performatively like I'm leaving, and I won't
Well, to be
come
fair,
back.
It's not really up his street, is it?
and I won't come back until women can be admitted. So he gets the plaudits for that. You're like, you've been in that
Yeah.
for 30 years.
Did you not?
He's
Did you
the-
ever have a look around and wonder why there was 100% guys?
He's the Joey Barton of fucking of like, you know, whatever members clubs.
Yeah, no idea about that.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Joey Barton,
Footballer.
yeah,
Okay.
and he's
Chris in
he kind of tried to make a name for himself about a year or so ago by just like slagging off every like female like football journalist basically,
pundits.
and everyone was just like, "Shut up, you're a cunt." So
It was a cunt.
yeah,
Let's get that on the record. Joey Barton, you're a cunt. This is some football chat I can get on with.
yes. And I didn't expect that to take such a controversial turn there, Chris. We were just
This is
happily
gonna
talking about
happen.
you know,
Well, Chris, we were chatting before about your podcast, Rural Concerns, which I'm a fan of,
Yes.
but you are frustrated sometimes that you're quite outspoken and your producer cuts it all.
Do you know what? He's protecting me from myself. Broadly, no issue, because, he's keeping us on the side of the angels. I'm not an edgelord, but I think we cut something. He had us cut something about Elon Musk, and I was like, I will stand by those words.
Do you want to say it here on this podcast? We let
yeah,
it.
give what to our
No,
As
you're
long
an
as you're
idiot,
nice to
mate.
City Link buses, we don't give a fuck.
yeah.
I think he's a bloody idiot. There you go.
I think he is as well. Did you see him do his little Zoom call to
To the far right.
yeah?
I tell you what, like with that sort of stuff, this week I've been up and down to Manchester a lot. I've been down the M6 and back up the M6. And you know when you just sort of trying to keep all this out of you, I avoid it all. You know, don't read the news loads, keep it to one side. I'm a silly man, a daft man, and so I don't put it on social media. Getting in, also thick as well, so I don't. I'm broadly, I know what's right or wrong, but things are so I'm just like, I don't want to say something and look stupid.
Yeah,
But
that's
I've been
fair.
driving up and down and looking at the bridges with the flags on.
It's crazy.
And you're like, I feel very intimidated and unwelcome with this. You know, so I'm just getting to the point where like, I am actually fucked off, really.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get a slap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's taken a lot to get me there. Somebody's going to get a slap.
And it's going to be Elon Musk.
It's going to be Elon
Because
Musk.
of the
gotta
England
be.
flags on the motor. Because I done 2 drives down the M6 actually the last couple of weekends, and I seen them all. And actually, there was one I drove by and it had an England flag, and I had sometimes they have writing on it, like when you see an England game, and they're like, you know, Stockport Town, fucking, you know, whatever. But like it just all I could see, the only bit of writing I seen on the England flag was not racist. I just drove by, I was like, oh no, it's like if you need to say that. then.
Probably is.
Although,
There's loads of salt tires going up though. Which
mate, I drove through Drumchapel today.
I drove through near that.
Never a good place, never a nice area that's got them, I would say this. There's a fucking house that had about 5 salt tires, a Union Jack, and a fucking American flag. And I'm like, you live
Confederate
in
one?
fucking Shut the fuck up. They actually do. I probably shouldn't say that. But I was like, this is fucking unbelievable, man.
It's crazy. Like I was going through Mary Hill on the way to the radio thing the other day, and like I'm not joking, about a mile of
On the
every
lamppost,
single
yeah.
lamppost had a saltire.
Aye.
It's who are these people going out at night and putting these up?
I think it's probably an organised, as in, I don't think this is
Online.
But there's always people. There's some. The flags are catching up. There's always like one guy on the estate that's a flag guy in there. And but where I live, there's a lot of like rural, Northumberland, Cumbria, Northumberland, Cumbria. Oh, one of them. Don't matter. But there's a lot of flagpoles in the rural community. You
The
know what I
Cumbria
mean?
flag or whatever. Or
No,
Northumbria one, or what?
like a lot of Union Jacks
Right.
and stuff like this. And you're like, I thought, what if you went round it dead of night, which I wouldn't do on a farmer's land, and woke up and you put them all in the area at half mast, and you're like, fuck, the king's dead. Imagine that started out. But
Do you think there's a lot more pride for the Union Jack around about the border because obviously, you know, they're
Keep the
like,
border.
we really don't want to go independent
symbolise
or
it.
whatever.
I've been reading a lot about where I live is like, have you heard of Border Reivers?
No.
Right. So it's like a history thing. But sorry. But like basically where I live is like they used to call it like the debatable land, you know, the border that shifted and moved
Right.
over like hundreds of years. So basically I think it was, I need to check it, but after the Black Death, that borderland area fell into ruin. And out of it became like there was like basically family named gangs that were running, like they were brigands, they were stealing, they were robbing. Kind of cool, do you know what I mean? But there was like Armstrongs, Elliots, stuff like this, Grahams. They all had these big names, big family clans. And I live amongst those people now. Like it's the same surnames and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's but apparently during that time, like when there were Scotland and England were going to war, they were putting these families together. But what mattered to them was the family names and the business and like the connections, and it spanned the border. So basically, they were being fought to fight for their country, and they didn't give a fuck about it. So apparently, they got caught from either side. You know, like you are Scottish, they are English. They're fighting, but they're pretending. So they're getting caught like, oh yeah, this is for you. And the guys like, fucking hell, lads, come on.
Is that and Hadrian's Wall? You mentioned that earlier. Is that to do with this? Like, I don't know a lot about Hadrian's Wall. It was to mark the border. Was that right? To keep the Scots out of England.
I'm saying this,
Or is
I'm
it the opposite?
acutely aware of where I am and who I'm sat with. But
No.
it was to keep an eye, you know.
On the Scots.
Yeah.
Is it like in Game
we're
of
up to-
Thrones where there's the wall
Yeah.
and then we're the wildlings?
Yeah, you are the wildlings, the undead coming over just to keep an eye on you, you know.
Yeah.
Is
It's not a very big wall to keep people out though, is it?
I think
Did
a
they
lot
used
of
to
it's
be
been like taken by the farmers to build their houses and stuff.
Okay.
Well, because is there much of the wall left? Because a few times when I've went down,
There's loads of signs.
yeah, there's
saying you
hundreds of
look at
signs
it.
for Hadrian's Wall, and I've a couple of times when I've been down the East Coast, I've tried to go and follow those signs to look for it. Well, I tried once, and I couldn't figure it. I just went on some farmer's land or something. Like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going here, so I turned back. But I couldn't. I've never actually been, and you don't ever see a lot of people going to it. Like you don't see a
Yeah.
lot of pictures for it. Then
I think where I live very near to Sycamore Gap that got cut down.
right.
So that is like, I'd say, the most picturesque run of it. It's beautiful, and it naturally, because it's the Romans, it like naturally, like there's a big straight bit of land and it runs through, and there's some really nice walking. But if you go to the start of it, you know, at Newcastle, so you can see bits of the wall next to, you know, like a housing estate and stuff like
Really?
that. But that's where people start. They go from one end to the other.
In Newcastle.
Yeah, in
Really?
Newcastle, I think there's like Wall's End, the
Aye.
place. So they start there and they walk through to the other end, and basically where I live is the middle, and it's where people's spirit breaks, It's where people call it a day because they've had enough. It's a
That
really.
should be on the sign.
Is that a fitting metaphor for why you decided to move there, Chris?
But we love it. We love it. Like my village is like, it's like a working class village, but there's like B&Bs and stuff like this, like hospitality pubs and stuff, and we all like live off the walkers that come over. But there's no better feeling than seeing like some sort of guy from London crying in our bus stop. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a serious walk, and it's like everyone could do a walk that's like a 9, 10, 12 mile walk a day. But the Hadrian's Wall walk is like, it's a 9 mile walk, it's a 16 mile walk, it's an 11 mile. And if you're not like back to back, if you're not prepared, you're calling it a day, you're in tears.
Right.
It's great.
How long would it take you to do it?
I don't know.
You're just there.
We've got the West Highland Way, which is quite a walk.
And the Antine Wall is near here.
Yeah,
much know
ever
about
heard of that?
Nothing at all.
It's a Roman wall.
Yeah. That's about what
Right.
we know about it.
There you go.
But see, it's
Any
not
more
here.
than that?
That's as far as the Romans got, I think.
Yeah, no,
That's when they called it a day.
That's when they called it. a day.
This was the worst bit of the Roman Empire. This is, I think there was Julius Caesar came over. Basically, Caesar, I think, had a big victory over here, fighting the savages.
Away to Rangers.
Yeah.
In the Europa League.
But then eventually, like, I think other emperors further down the line would come over to try and replicate his historic win. So it was basically this like grubby frontier, which I really like.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you know a lot about the Roman Empire? I know there was a thing back a few months ago about or last year.
A couple of years ago.
Was
now,
it
really.
It was
years?
a thing 10 years ago.
Was
Yeah.
it years now?
Fuck
Yeah,
knows. We
I
can just
bet.
share
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that
yeah,
back.
yeah.
I thought it was like a couple of months ago
No.
about guys always think about the Roman Empire.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of guys who drive Jaguars and stuff like that are obsessed
Seems
with
like
the Roman Empire.
your demographic.
No, no, no.
audience, the 40-year-old guys with bad
Bags,
bags.
Jaguar, Roman history. But it's just because I lived there, so I was like, I'm a man out of place. So I've sort of gone to try and learn. And my wife's Northern Irish, and I'm just like, I said to her, I can't imagine living in a different place. Do you know what I mean? I'm like freaking out living in Cumbria, trying to like fit in with everybody. And my son, he's got a different voice to me. And I said to my wife, I said, he's not going to have a familial blood connection to the words that he's using, That sort of thinking is why I've quite rightly been identified as a knobhead by the people in the village. Because they don't get me because I do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You must be like the village freak, basically, Chris.
yeah,
Are you not involved in like the village paper or something?
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy hearing about the local disputes about the church and stuff.
Did it during, like when we moved up there, it was 2020.
Before
Comedy.
before COVID or during?
It overlapped.
Aye.
I had a brilliant lockdown. Amazing. Went up there because basically my mother and father-in-law owned a B&B, shut down. For so we went up. I remember we were driving up the M6, totally empty, listening to car full, listening to Boris Johnson deliver the lockdown, the first broadcast.
Yeah.
It felt like War of the World. It was scary.
Okay,
Mad to
no
think.
You
flags on
were
it.
before Dominic Cummings. You were getting up there.
Yeah. So we were.
Check my eyesight at the B&B.
we were like, get out of here now. Do you know what I mean? And so we ended up spending 5 months at this empty B&B. Dreadful time for my mother and father-in-law who ran it. For me personally, brilliant. My friends that were doing Zoom calls, like they lived in big city, Manchester, London or whatever, they're like having these Zoom dinners, living in hell, like working in office jobs, 14-hour days from the settee in a high-rise, sounding like pure misery. I was like, I've gone out for a 7-hour walk today. I've read 7 books. You know what I mean? I was like, this is magical. And then, so we moved up there fully, but then the world started coming back online. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's like quite a long way from anything you can imagine, isn't it? Anything professionally. But here we are. And my son's having a magical childhood that I didn't have.
You do camping quite a lot. You were talking about that in the car.
Yeah.
And is it around and near where you live you would go, or do you travel to go and camp?
We do come up to Scotland quite a bit for camping, and like I was saying, my friends from Edinburgh, and the last one we went to was this very swanky, middle class campsite, lots of English accents. And my friend from Edinburgh was like going, "It's nice." He goes, "Price point's just right to keep the Scots out."
Fucking hell.
Just
You don't
over
need a
Hadrian's
wall
Wall.
anymore. You just need...
Cold hard cash.
But it's like I hate camping, hate it.
And
I've
you're
not done
never
it in
stopping
years.
doing it either.
Tea in the
always done it.
Park was the last
Tea in the
time I
Park's the
camped.
last time I've done it as well, and I've done it with the Scouts a couple of times.
I think when I was a kid, I went to Leeds Festival and camped. You know, when you don't take anything.
Yeah.
To take I had a corn t-shirt,
Yeah.
not even a ground mat. You know what I
Took
mean?
some Frosty cereal bars and that was me for the weekend.
Corn t-shirt, bottle of Lamb's Navy rum,
Oh yeah.
And
no mixer.
no mixer, tiny little block of hash that I got in Bradford that I just was too scared to really do out with, you know. So basically ended up taking it to Leeds Festival, taking it back and giving it away. But now we're doing. It's like so good for the family to go camping. Like it's magical, you know. It's good for my boy to get him away from electronic devices and shops because they're a bit of a pressure point for him, you know. Because he loves buying things with money that's mine. So we get camping, but as we like,
You're not going to buy a Stephen Fry skin in the woods, are you?
no, he's like, I need it, Dad. Like, just get out there, touch that mushroom. And it's good, but I don't love it because camping's like the entire thing about it is I think it's like the thing about camping is every process. It's for people with busy minds. Do you know what I mean? When you like can't stop thinking about stuff, so you're stressed out about work. So camping makes it so everything that you do, you go to the toilet. It suddenly that simple thing becomes like an 18-step process.
Yeah.
Have you got your torch? Have you zipped up? Have you locked down? Have you got your shoes on? Like all this sort of stuff to get through, to go on a little hike, to have a wee.
Yeah.
It absorbs all your brain, and you don't worry about work or your mortgage or whatever for 48 hours. But I was like, I love it. And that's what I always say to my wife. I'm like, I love it. But maybe we didn't do it this year. Maybe we go to Skiathos in Greece. Initially, she was very on board with that, but I got chiselled down over weeks too. She was like, we can go camping, Euro camping in France. I was like, no fucking way. I'm not going just to, like, now you made camping even worse.
Yeah.
By putting me somewhere where I have to add learning French to the
Right.
list of skills that I need to do away.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Because
way.
they'll just think you want to say,
Yes.
you want to do a yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I like my creature comforts these days. So, like, camping, I'm not that arsed about it.
Get some creatures
Yeah,
camping.
we're anti-camping podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking
Thank you,
hate
yeah.
camping.
You're safe here. It's a safe space.
Yeah. It's just cold and wet, and it's like I remember going camping and waking up and just the fucking side of the tent was on my face and it was soaking.
But
It's not a nice experience.
I think as
None
you
of
get older and if you commit to camping, you've gone in like loose. You know, you've got a cheap tent from Argos.
Yeah, of
Nothing
course, it
wrong
was
with
like
this.
12 quid or whatever.
But as you go up, there is like a sort of competitive keeping up with the Joneses element of
Yeah.
like every, like we've just this
Wee
year
gas stove burner.
stove, but a better stove. But you get basically, you know, when it gets to the point where you've got a blow up settee and a, some of them are like, you've got a power cable outside, you pay for that. So you've got a blow up settee and a 45-inch telly. And I said to
Play
my,
Fortnite.
yeah, you play Fortnite. I said to my wife,
Frank Jesus coming with us.
I said to my wife, I was like, I don't know what this is. What? That's just a tiny living room. This in us as well. This is walking past the others, so you get to see. So you suddenly feel inadequate. So this year we spent like 300 odd quid on top end sofa beds. You know, not sofa bed, camping beds. So like real high end camping beds, and that's the big expense for this year. But when I went with my friend, and he was like, "Look at that, Berghaus, that." So I was like, "You what?" It's like $2,000 worth of tent. I'm like, that's mad. It feels like, you know, when you guys talked about football a minute ago, and I'm like, oh, yeah, mad though, isn't it? I am interested.
I just can't fathom spending that amount of money on a holiday and not wanting to be like fucking miles away from home.
Yeah, and
on a
roasting.
plane. Yeah,
Roasting hot.
$2,000. I'm going to the other side of the world.
All I'll say is
The
on this,
Maldives.
just sit tight, lads, and let's have this chat in a few years. Kids up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do you know what I mean? So things change. That's all I'm saying. I don't like camping. I do so much stuff I don't like as a father. It's not about me anymore.
Yeah.
My happiness is like, this is why I'm here. I'm in Glasgow for 2 nights. That's like tomorrow. I've got the day in Glasgow by myself, you know. I'm going like such a. I don't know it that well. I've been here before, but you're like, I'm just going to watch Jurassic World at the cinema, something on my own. I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock. Do you know what I mean?
Just because it's a novelty.
Yeah, exactly. Just to do. I'm not going out.
No.
No.
I was just saying I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock. That'll be difficult because I'll be physically on stage.
I know. It must be opening. Jesus, right next to the hotel.
When you travel around, what do you like it? I don't love it.
The problem with it to me is I always just feel like I'm on a wee holiday. Because what is doing the circuit? You're just on a series of city breaks, basically.
Yeah.
And then what else is there to do after, a gig? Just get pissed and whatever. And because I'll drive to a lot of gigs, so if I'm in, Birmingham for the weekend or something, I'm just going to, enjoy the fact and have a pint at the gig and blah, blah, blah. But then if you do that for 8 months, then you've just been on the piss for 8 months.
Yeah.
Fucking about and you've not got any structure. So I'm kind of, at the moment, I'm trying to take a wee bit of time off traveling about as much because I've done too much of it this year, to be honest. But it is fun and it's good, but it's like anything, you just do too much of it and it just feels a wee bit repetitive.
I think it's that thing of it, to me as well, does feel like a special. In my head, it's like a special holiday, but it is becoming more of just regular. This is what I do now.
Yeah.
So, especially when it comes to like eating in a foreign city, a
Try the local cuisine.
yeah. It's like that's got to stop. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what
living-
I'm worst for.
Yeah,
You need to get a handle on
it's not a holiday; it's work.
Yeah,
so
it's your life.
This is my life.
Yeah.
This is my life. That's what I tell my wife all the time. This is my job. You know what I mean? Like joint account, like Jurassic World teats.
It is funny though because it is a hard one to you are enjoying it and having fun and it is kind of like a wee holiday, but you are working. Well, you're at least you're there because you're doing that is your job.
Yeah.
Do
So
you,
it's a hard
do you
sell,
like do you like being yourself, or if there's a city, would you like to meet up with pals, or you like I would like to just be alone for the weekend?
I think I normally get quite stressed out about how the day's going to go, so I normally end up knocking around by myself,
Yeah.
I think last time I was up, Sunil Patel did a weekend in Edinburgh, and it was one of those, do you get it, like, the Friday night was by far away one of the worst shows that I've done in a lot of times, and then you're, like, locked into the city for 48 hours, and you're like, I want to leave the country, and then, like, I want to, like, delete all, like, and then you're like, you've got to go back. So if I was on my own, I was like, Sunil's taking me around Edinburgh, and like the day, this is meant to be a day for me to enjoy myself. Now I'm just dreading going back and having to do that again. But the botanical gardens, I didn't feel anything. You know what I mean? And Sunil said, yeah, well, that was dreadful. Apparently they had like 21. They had to throw out 21 people because there were stag do's doing coke. It was hell.
In the botanical garden.
You've never seen gardens like this. As is stag do. But Sunil said to me, it was like, he said it's like you've been bit by a dog and you have to go back to it. So obviously you're like scared of it. The only thing is he took me to the Edinburgh dungeon. And that was the only time I felt anything that day because it was really scary.
Was it scary?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
There's a bit where a seat drops really suddenly.
Yeah.
Do you know that bit?
Yeah. Yeah. That scared me.
Oh, I jumped.
And then they take the picture at that point, I think.
Took the picture, and bought it. You just see in my face, like, I am scared, but really what I'm thinking is it too late to go back to Argos? If I get my CV in order and take that video off YouTube, I can go back.
Is that where you were at Argos?
Big time.
I used to work in Argos.
You've both got that connection.
Do you think I think life sort of, I've not really transitioned to the unpredictability of the entertainment lifestyle. I worked in an office for years, worked in Argos. Life was simple. PAYE.
What's
what I mean?
What's it like back there?
Back in Argos.
Back behind the counter. Was back.
Well, it's like being behind the curtain in show business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Miserable.
Awful.
Awful people.
Is it just fucking boxes?
It's
a warehouse.
that really what did you do in Argos? Sort of bit. I can imagine they'd have you out front.
I was mainly out front, yeah.
Yeah.
Putting the wee pens back.
Getting the mums to sign up to the Argos credit card.
Leave some feedback, girls. Come on.
I was a troll in the back, moving the flatbacks.
See, when you did it, the thing that really cracked me up whenever I was back there was they had this convoluted system for placing. So it'd be like, FIFA 17 on PS4 or whatever, and it goes in a specific shelf in the warehouse.
Yes.
But there's like a code for everything. So it'd be like A2. It might have changed I don't know when you did it, but it'd be like A2XY or whatever. And there was a bunch of old boys who'd basically semi-retired through the back. This is in Kirkcaldy, and they'd have headsets on, and they would have to speak the letters, but it wouldn't understand their accent. So every time you went back, they'd be like A2. 4 or whatever, and they'd be like, fuck you then, cunt. And it's just like loads of old guys swearing into these headsets.
Or do they get anglicised?
Yeah, so then they'd have to, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like a sketch every time you went back. A Burniston sketch.
Yeah, the 11 one.
Is that what it was like when you did it?
Yeah, so many Scottish accents in the Bradford Foster Square retail park.
Well, I imagine they had their own problems though with the
It was
technology.
No, I don't remember that system. We got
Stuart's got a soul tie flying outside.
I remember I was like young. I was like 18 or something. So I remember being, like just an absolute company man working so hard in that shift when no one give a shit. You know what I mean? So I was that guy. So I hated being that guy, but I tried so hard. But then there was this girl joined called, I can't remember her name, I think it was Katie, but that 17-year-old supervisor. And there was a guy, everyone hated her.
It's like the wee Simpsons spotted manager guy, that type of vibe.
Yeah, she was like, she loved the company and and I remember a lad called Imran was like, one day he was like, listen, Katie, when I first met you, I wanted to throw some ladders on you and pretend it was an accident, but you're actually all right. And they were good. It was good. I remember one day some people stole an Hoover and ran off with it, and I chased them down like it was like I was in an American cop show, And then
how did you steal a Hoover from Argos?
Grabbed it. Oh, it was on display. Grabbed it, ran into the retail park, and I took after them. And then after that, I never did that again. No. Because I think...
Who gives a fuck?
I remember they got it, and then I got... Yeah, who gives a shit? And then they were there, and I think one of the girls had, hurt her leg on a car or something, stealing it.
Yeah.
And then you could see, that they're basically... they weren't nicking it because they're, affluent or whatever like that. And they were having a bit of a tough time. So I was just like... That sort of turned a switch off in my head, and I never give a shit again.
You're stealing that Hoover for their baby. Their baby
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
Feed their children somehow.
But I remember one time I went there and it was over the seasonal. Do you know when they got seasonal workers in over Christmas to do the things? And there was this guy and apparently he picked up a flat pack or something, put it down, sat on a box and died.
That's definition of seasonal. he's not going to be on the job after that.
And he was there to they were I remember being in a staff briefing and he was actually working there over Christmas to buy his son the Xbox. And the boss at the time was like,
have a whip round.
We have got him the Xbox. And you're like, you don't want the Xbox. You don't want. He couldn't be less interested in playing Halo right now.
Jesus Christ, that's breaking him.
Intense. Did you see the dead body?
No, he came in after.
Okay, good.
There's a lot of storage space back there. They just
put him behind like a sort of side table that needed building. Good times.
Good times.
How come you tried so hard? I want to know about that. Were you?
But I was always like that. Do you know?
Did you have in mind this is going to be your career and you wanted to work your way up the ladder, or do you just like to try hard at everything you do?
All right.
No matter what you do.
Are you just a sort of fucking specky nerd, or have you always been? Yeah. No, I think I've always been like that. I think there was a thing where I've always tried hard, and I lived in London for a few years and worked for an off. I worked for. Do you remember Cafe Rouge and Bella Italia?
I know Bella Italia.
They were the same company, and I'd worked in their head office in London, and I tried really hard. You know, when like if you had your time again, like if you'd have trusted what was in the feeling that you're like, this ain't right. Do you know what I mean? You don't like it. And I used to do marketing, so I was so passionate about stuff that didn't matter. You know, and then I can't remember. I got made redundant after like 12 years, and that broke something in my head. A little bit of money. Take that. Edinburgh Fringe, gone. I think I did my first Fringe with that money.
So you were doing comedy at this time when you were working in the market and having these kind of feelings?
I was doing it in London, so I was doing like lots of open mic. The thing about that is a lot of shit nights for new people, but there's a lot of them, you know. And I always think if you live in London, you know, you can watch someone off at telly trying new stuff out for £5. So I think go watch like Nish Kumar working out his new show for nothing in this bar or something. Or you can go watch some fucking dickheads who hadn't done it before. So I was like, it doesn't make sense to me, but you can gig a lot. So I did that, and I was doing it, but I wasn't taking it very seriously. The redundancy, like, suddenly bereft, and then I was sort of doing not odd jobs, but after that I landed a job for an online chemist that was on the office. It was in an office, but then it moved to, there's this boat on the Thames attached, and it was the office was a boat, and on the weekends it was a venue for a sex party place. You know, like a sin garden or something like that. But they used to go so on the weekends.
None of this adds up.
Just leave some of that antibiotics there over the weekend. I'm probably going to need that.
So at that point, but then I ended up doing this job, but basically I started taking comedy more seriously then, because it was when my son was being born, and I was like, I need to get out of here. This is so I started doing my double act with Amy Gledhill, which overlaps with that time. But basically, I ended up in a situation where this pharmacy company had two bosses. I was like a contract worker split between a boss in London and a boss in Birmingham, and they fucking hated each other. So I would just play them. I stopped caring then, and I was a lot more like, I'm gonna do comedy. So I, for the first time in my life, would like not take it seriously, and I actively lied to be like, oh, if one of them asked me to do something, I'd be like, I'm just doing this for that one. I was doing fuck all. I was on a 0 hours contract, and when they finally came to make me redundant from that, I was like, the guy was called Chris, and he was so nice, and he was making me redundant, and he was probably about 45 or something like that, but he was a really nice lad. But we were doing a dance, and we both knew we were doing a dance. He said, we're going to have to let you go. I said, I'm shocked. I said, my dedication to online pharmacy is second to none. I'm like laughing. He's got a half a grin on his face. But we had to, because he wanted me, I was 0 hours. I wasn't entitled to fuck all. Yeah, but they wanted me to stay for 3 months and do that. And basically I said this, he wanted me to stay to get another little bit of money, but I basically pushed to be let go immediately and get the same money. Which was like 2 months' pay or something like that. But I was just like, I said, in none of our chats has it come up there's a problem with my performance. I said, I love online pharmacy so much. And then it got out, and I went, I'm fucking out of there. And then I went back. But I still think the shift, basically away from, to managing your own tax and money. Yeah. And not knowing where money's coming from all the time. But now I've been doing it, I still just feel panic and dread all the time. But then you get to a point where I've realised that if I really need money, and I've done, where's the next bit of money coming from? You just put your hands together and pray, don't you? And someone comes up, that Uber ad that you did 6 months ago for radio, they've recommissioned it, and you're like, thank you.
Do you think there's a trade-off then, in what you're talking about, a sort of trade-off between, I suppose, a certain level of certainty, although you can never be that certain, because even in these jobs you're talking about being made redundant, but I think most people prefer having a wee bit of certainty over their happiness a lot of time, because the problem with doing comedy and stuff is that there is such a level of uncertainty. As you say, you don't know a lot of time where your next gigs will come from, on that sort of stuff. And do you think that was that probably the decision for you, was that you were willing to let go of that certainty to try and be a bit happier?
Yeah, and if I'm really honest, like I say, last time life really made sense was Argos. And
Was this before or after the boat?
Before Argos was like,
because that's why you were still a company man at the time.
Argos is when I was like 17, 18,
Right.
16, 17 or whatever. And then the company boat was when I was in London in my 20s, early 30s. But me and my wife met doing stand-up. She doesn't do it anymore. She's like a coach for, like, she does loads of stuff to do with voice, but she does like, a lot of what she does at the minute is like she'll go meet a CEO to like to help them do presentations and project and talk to the company. So it means, it's really annoying that we're always fighting for the same time, you know what I mean? So she's like, I need to, because it's all sudden, isn't it, with this stuff?
Yeah.
It's never like book ahead. It's always like, I'm like, she's like, I need to go to Geneva. I'm like, well, look at the calendar, because I'm in Pocklington, just outside York. So both.
And when are we going to go camping?
So I think with that, we met doing that. I mean, not so much now, but there was definitely a time where like, I'm out, I'm going back to Argos, and I would have done if I was on my own, but she never stopped. She never let me go back to Argos.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And now it's got to the point where you're like, it's a lot of people around us have invested a lot of time in making sure that I can do this. Like grandparents looking at, like, we're always throwing this poor boy. We're like, she needs to catch a plane. And you're not yet old enough where you can come and watch your dad die on his ass in Carlisle. It's coming. Yeah. But
I get that, like, you get that wee feeling where you go, I could go back to working in the co-op. It's a simpler life, and then you realise all the shit times that you had there.
Haven't actually fucking do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But do you think, I always think, like, it's like a poison chalice. And I don't want to be doom and gloom on it at all, but it's like that thing of, I've got mates now that we're in his 40s, they're like heads of department, so they're earning real money, like. But I remember one of my friends, we were very close.
Sunil Patel's, he doesn't actually work in a bank. That's just the adverts.
the amount, spend a lot of, most of our podcast is me trying to figure out how much he has been paid for these adverts. all I say is he lives a life of, he does what he wants to do when he wants to do it. Do you know what I mean?
He's one of the most recognisable men in Britain. It's like the new Go Compare, man.
Yeah, they just keep commissioning. I know he got paid for the first couple of sets of adverts, and they've done loads more since. So you're like, he's all right. But annoying when you like buy a new fucking cable, your mic's not working. And like, he's got cable money. What's going on?
We had a similar one actually. Like, we both fantasised about being postmen.
Yes.
That was one.
What was the?
I often Google things like, is it nice to be a postman? UK Reddit. That's one of my get-outs when I'm fantasising about getting out of this toxic industry.
And is it nice?
Mixed results
From
on
your,
there.
your research?
I've aged out of, not that this was on the cards, but I'm not eligible to be a police officer or work at the army anymore. Do you know what I mean? That feels good.
Yeah.
Not that I want to do
when
it.
you peep over the wall.
over the wall.
Not many lads look like me in there.
Yeah, we told you, we don't want you.
Unless it's a time of real crisis. Do you know what I mean? But I think, not that I wanted to do that at all, but you're like, just at a low moment. I don't want to come home in a soldier's uniform and be like, I'm shipping out tomorrow, babe.
Aye.
Why? Because I can't quite get my head around the HMRC tax portal.
What's the allure of the postman then, if you both fantasise it? Like early mornings, early finish?
Yeah, bit of that. Active.
Walking about.
You're working for someone, but you're kind of
On
to
your
your
own.
own devices for
Podcast
most
on.
time.
The
Podcast on.
podcast and the availability of that, I know there's been Walkmans and all that, but that must have changed the game for posties. That must be brilliant. Someone's probably doing it while listening to this.
Well, was a lorry driver?
Do you do that if you're a postman listening to this, emailing?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it nice?
They'll give you a sticker.
There's a guy here. There's a guy who does the post around here, and he runs his whole round. He's been doing that for
Whoa.
years and years, and actually,
So he finishes his shift quicker.
Is that
I think he's-
unprofessional or is that really professional?
I
can't
think
decide.
it's a health thing. But he's the thing I would say about him.
He must look like there's a dog chasing him.
He's never in great shape. He's never been like, he doesn't look like an athlete,
Right.
but he's in decent enough
Yeah.
shape.
But what's he running? He must be running 20 miles every day.
I don't fucking know.
Did they give him more houses to hit if he's doing it quicker, or do you just have set amount of
You've
houses?
got to have a set amount of.
I think
Your
it does.
area.
You're not getting more or less depending on how long you take. Because I guess I don't know if they have certain, like doors per minute or something. But like that's the nice thing about them
You
as
gotta get your
opposed to
DPMs up.
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's a nice thing about them as opposed to probably Amazon where they make it's all timed by the fucking second in it and all that. Like
Yeah.
you'd like to think
I
that
think
there's
it's a bit from my Reddit research when I've had a bad gig and I want to become a postman. I think it's like it used to be a bit more chill and now it's a bit more like
because
they're
it's
cracking the whip.
privatised now, isn't it?
That's
One
the
of them is-
impression I
But
get.
with the Amazon ones as well, it's like it with the descent of parking into like just pulling up at middle of the road and putting your hazards on.
Yeah.
Because they get something like 55p a packet these
Yeah.
days. They've got thousands of them to do a day, and you're like, it's chaos.
I always feel
Right.
responsible if I've got an Amazon delivery coming. I try and get it as quickly as possible because I know this guy's against the clock.
I got
Yeah,
one out
that's
of
very
van
nice.
the other day in the middle of the road.
You get one out of a van?
Out the van.
Wow.
Just a random.
Yeah, is that for me? I was like, yeah.
You Hoover,
I knew he
thank
was
you very
coming.
much.
And what about
I was on my way home.
No,
Yeah.
it don't look out of life, does it? That I mean, I'm sure it is, but it looks
Stressful.
hard money.
Well, it's
that.
the
Yeah.
gig economy,
Yeah.
which we're also in technically.
That's true.
It's
But I've
I
never
don't-
pissed in a bottle on a way to a gig.
No.
Not yet.
I do like I was saying, like me, with my mates that work in office jobs and they've been doing it a bit, and they're at the point where, like, they're very settled. They've got nice houses and money and stuff like that. But I'm talking to my friend who was having a bit of a wobble. You know, you've been working long enough that you sort of you're not new to it anymore, and you can see the way down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it, and he was saying like he didn't at the time he didn't quite understand like what he was doing, and he said to me like, which sort of put in perspective for me, like even with the anxiety of it all, he was just like, are you using your brain all the time? And I was like, yeah, that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? As much as we're all like knackered and sort of anxious about loads of mad stuff, and I think we're always fighting over like how we're spending his time. I'm doing this. Should I be doing this? What's happening? What's an Instagram reel? Do you know what I mean? My male friends in their 40s, you'd be surprised how little they think about Instagram reels. You know, but I
But they
was
probably
like,
watch them all the time.
probably watch them all the time. So I was like, yeah, it's like overall that's good. And you meet a lot of weird people. I think a lot of comedians think in unusual ways, which I really like being around. Some of them are boring as well.
Yeah.
aren't they?
You do just meet a diverse range of people that you wouldn't meet otherwise. That's one of the things I think. I just like. Sometimes I'm just like, it's crazy that I just know certain people.
Yeah.
Or do you know what I mean? Like, and people that a lot of folk like I went to school with or something, they would never met people like that. You know?
Yeah, and that's really. I would say the caveat to that is I'm getting quite bored of a certain type of male comedian. It's a man in his 40s, say, as an example. I don't know, just like I guess.
Your own
No,
demographic.
I know what you're going to say.
These are basically men that are like 1 or 2 school years older than me. But you know, in comedy, when you get the guys, slight bootcut jean, Converse trainers,
I'm looking around.
I'm wearing them right now.
record bag.
Well,
you know
see,
what I
I
mean?
felt self-conscious today because I've heard you say this both in the pub and on stage, and I had a tote bag with me today because I came from
You
the
had a
gym.
little tote bag, did you? But you're all right. You're
No
good.
Converse though.
No.
No, I'm no Converse, no tote bag for me.
I think there's a lot of like. I think someone heard describe a certain type of man in comedy as like Peter Pans. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like men that are
Yeah.
in like mid and they're not used to like a bend in any part of their. They do exactly what they want when they want.
They're not
So-
going camping.
Yeah. I remember my friend used to go out with this guy, and he was like, he talked to me like I was a little boy. You know what I mean? He'd been doing comedy a lot longer than me, but was about 3 years older than me in real terms. And he would talk to me like I'm a little boy, and I was like, don't you fucking talk to me like this. I have a wife and a child and a house. You know what I mean? You have a mental health day because you can't, like, you're a bit sad about something like that. I'm like the fucking guys that built the Titanic. Do you know what I mean? Compared to you. Well, I don't think that's a brilliant example. You know, it sank, but...
I was watching 8 out of 10 Cats List Countdown not too recently and was delighted to see, I might maybe in a repeat, but it was you you and Amy were on it doing Delightful Sausage.
I think we did it really a long time ago, but then they sort of stopped making it, so they dribbled it out. So we did it, and then it didn't come out for like another year and a half.
Yeah.
That was a mad moment, because I'd done a couple of bits of TV with Amy, but it was largely like late night MASH sketch show. 11:30 p.m. on Dave.
Health thing.
How many people's watching it? Like 7 people. Do you know what I mean? And they were all on it. 8 out of 10 Cats was different, and it felt like Big School, and it was like Jimmy Carr and Sarah Millican and Alan Carr. And I said to Amy, I was like, I've never seen a shirt like Alan Carr's shirt. It was made out of, it looks like, you know, that fucking Terminator in Terminator 2, like liquid metal. It was, I could see from a distance how expensive it was.
Wow.
Like, it was like real.
I just watched Megalopolis the other day, and there's a thing in that called Megalon, and it sounds like that. So it's fucking.
It's not available to us. It's like, we can't get it in our
Like
shops.
an element that's in like Area 51, like the aliens have brought it to Earth or some shit.
But that was that was that all right? Did I have fun? Yeah, I think we did. It's like very tense. Because Amy had done it as a guest, and she was like, it plays out exactly as it's shown, but they talk a lot longer for each section. So they introduce the contestants, and that takes 45 minutes.
Wow.
And then they just go. And then the vibe, they throw, like Jimmy Carr, like, throw and in Dictionary Corner. But the vibe is very, very much like, do your fucking job. Do you know what I mean? And then you, like, live or die. And we did really, like, it was a lot of fun in the room and stuff like that. So, like, a big load of relief. But it was definitely, like, intense, I think. Yeah.
And so you're talking earlier
Anyway,
on.
we haven't been asked back.
So you're talking earlier on about when you're in London, you do open spots, and you and Amy start doing this double act called the Delightful Sausage. For people that don't know about it, what is it? And so you were doing that as well as stand up. Have you always done them in tandem, or?
I sort of stopped when Amy, like, me working with Amy Gledhill overlapped with, we both moved to Manchester, and I'd been doing stand up on my own for like 4 or 5 years. To not much. Do you know what I mean? I was doing it in London, doing lots of knees night. It was going okay, but I basically got to the point where we found out that Nicola was pregnant, and then it was basically like, I've sort of had enough of this, you know. And then Amy moved to Manchester, and we started doing this night together to meet people. And I was just like, said to her, do you want to try this? And it was like, I'd sort of had enough of it, of doing stand-up on my own. And I was like, I want to do something different. And then she said yes. And then we just didn't stop working for 5-7 years, really. And past that. So because it overlapped with the birth of my son, and because I was like largely the production dynamo behind it, you know, like making sure the venues are getting booked in and stuff like that, I stopped doing it on my own. So I came back to it like 2 or 3 years ago with an Edinburgh run that was like so, but it sort of started, it gave me a 20-minute set to start going round and doing gigs and clubs and stuff like that again. So I still feel really new to doing stand-up on my own. But touch wood, enjoying it really.
I mean, you've been nominated for the Edinburgh Comedy Award as the sausage and on your own.
Yeah, just
Double, you think it's not too... You're kind of in the upper echelons, Chris, really.
just edit that out. I don't like it. Take a compliment like a slap, do you know what I mean? But
just if they weren't aware of you, they were listening to this, they wouldn't know actually what
You're a
decorated,
critically acclaimed.
decorated comedian you are.
Yes.
And I saw your show last year or the year before, and it
year
was
before.
very, very, very
Very
funny. I
funny.
loved it.
And I
Thank
saw
you.
a whip for the next one, and the next one's going to be shithole too.
It came to mind, which was nice.
Sitting behind your mum and dad.
Sitting by my mum and dad in that, we put on an extra show. Nobody in there. I was like, we've hit the peak, the peak of desire for Chris Cantrill tickets. But yeah, it was good. I'd sort of do a bit of that, do a bit of producing, like a produced you show at the Fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, with business partners.
Yeah, business partners. Stu was my boss for the summer.
Cracking the whip.
Cracking the whip. No, it was good.
Was that done your night in Manchester as well in the what's that place called, the Cultiplex or something?
Cultplex, yeah.
That's that was a classroom. I really loved that.
It's me and my friend John. We did that. I do a thing called a Lovely Time, which is basically we produce shows like Edinburgh runs, and we put on a lot of stuff in Manchester. We've got like several venues, and then we're starting to do tour production. And I think basically John, who I do that with, was a producer. And it's a lockdown thing, you know. I think I've got a good eye for someone he was brilliant. He was working for someone else. And then I was like, he's fucking, you know, a lot of people in comedy aren't good at doing things, like the industry of it and stuff like that. Like, or they're like posh people that are too scared to pick up a phone and speak to someone. I was like, he's great. So then we started doing it during lockdown. And I like just started straddling both sides.
Yeah.
But
Quite a lot going on then between like doing your own stuff.
I wouldn't say it's like a model to follow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
But was there an element you wanted to, you just felt you had to do stuff on your own kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it got to a point where, like me and Amy, we were sort of working. The shows that we did were like mad in terms of like we did very intense working with, like, where when we did a show, like we'd take it down
sausage,
and we'd add so much stuff to it. But then after when those,
and can you explain, sorry, to people what it is for people that haven't seen it?
Like, it's a double act, but like, I'd describe it as little comedy plays. Do you know? Although no, like they made us not describe them as plays because then you're not eligible. I think if it's a play, you're not eligible for those awards that we went up for. So it's me and Amy, and we it's like, I think it's dead old fashioned, like Cannon and Ball or Abbott and Costello. You know, it was like we'd always play. It wasn't we were putting sketch, but we weren't sketch. It was like we'd always play ourselves, like versions of ourselves, and every show was like a new adventure, like where we ended up. And basically, they became like there were plays with, and when we started, they were very simple. It was just me. It was Amy feeding me lines, and her dressed as a hot dog while I wore my nicest clothes. But by the end, it became like multimedia, big sort of, as big as you can get in Fringe rooms and stuff, but costumes and videos and stuff like that. And I love doing it, but we're not doing a live show like that. So I was coming out and doing stuff on my own, which is when I sort of started my podcast as well. And then I realised when I was doing it, I've been playing I played myself in the sausage stuff, but it was a character. Do you know what I mean? So doing the podcast and being like, what do I really think about things? It was a bigger hill to climb than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it.
A bit like when you do that walk from Newcastle.
Yeah. Nice and mild.
That is interesting because I often think this is slightly different, but when people come from an acting background and you see them do stand up, sometimes, particularly, I remember more this when we were starting out and you'd be gigging with people who'd maybe not done many gigs, but it was like you could still see this acty facade up, and it's a hard thing to take that down and then, as you say, just start saying what you actually think, and that's always a challenge in stand up as well, is just to be more authentic and all that kind of shit.
I've done a little bit of acting since, and I largely think Amy taught me how to do acting, because when we did these plays, which started off a lot more like just two stand-ups on stage doing stand-up, but they became plays with acting and scene change and stuff like that. But she taught me all about, day one, she's like, okay, we'll block this scene. I was like, yeah, okay. Just take a couple of steps back there. What does that mean? So and I've done a bit of acting.
And that means to take a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
Is actually what it actually means.
I do enjoy it. I like doing it.
And it's transferred now into a radio show, Echo Wick FM.
Which is it's a show. That's a show that me and Amy do. It's a fake radio show.
It's funny, man.
But really, what we do, as Stu was said, I've just listened to it. I really like it. And I said, what we do is we make it all up, and then we spend literally 1 calendar year editing it, so it makes sense. But me and Amy like write stories for each episode, but not dialogue. So we sort of
Curb Your Enthusiasm style.
so it's not like profitable at all, and it's not like everyone involved in it is someone who, like, the guy who does the sound design is my friend who basically the money that we get paid, I don't think tallies through to the hours that we spend on it, because we just won't leave it until it's finished. But we all nearly went mad on it, like on the last one. But we sort of make up the story, we make up the dialogue. And we've had like Colin Holt in it and stuff like that. But the producer, there's a lot of, like you'll be in the room and someone says a thing, and then you're like, fucking hell, that's the end of the episode. Not this. Get rid of that. Leave it there. Yeah. But that impacts episodes 5, 6. And you have to like engineer stuff like that. It is the most fun that I've had doing something. It's the thing that I'm most proud of, and I think it's exhilarating doing it. But he's a head fuck. He's a head fuck, and it's a lot of work.
Where can people listen to Go Wick FM?
There you go.
BBC Radio 4. It's all on BBC Sounds now.
There you go. There's a nice clean edit.
Listen to it very good.
It's funny.
Well,
really good.
Listen, Chris, I think that about covers us this week. Have you got anything else to plug at the moment?
Icklewick FM, please give it a listen. Also, I've got a podcast called World Concerns, which we talked about with Sunil Patel.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yes.
And you'll be doing some whips and stuff. And
I've got this is it. I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to Edinburgh. Oh God, can you December?
We'll sit on this for about a year.
Is that a whip? Is it a whip or is it a tour?
It's a
or what
whip.
you doing? Right, so work in progress.
Work in progress in Early December.
Right.
Either 5th, 6th, or 7th.
It's on sale the now.
On sale.
Right, that's fine. We'll get the link in the
Monkey Barrel?
description.
Huh?
Monkey Barrel?
Yeah, big time.
Stag do's welcome.
Go see Chris Cantrill.
Go to the Botanic Gardens then. Come and see Chris
Come watch
Cantrill.
some loose theatrical spoken word. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. Sounds good to me. Right, well, thanks so much for joining us, Chris. As ever, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please sign up to the Patreon, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us at SumLabPod on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, and send any questions to the email address, which is sumlabpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, get in touch, postmen and women.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.